Hi, everyone. Hey, welcome to another What's Happening This Week. And we're going to focus a lot on flowers because that is something that Soph and I share a great passion for.
Love
So
it.
let me quickly say hi to Andrew and Mel and Siggy and Leanne and Stephen and Joe. Oh, and Tom
They're all
and
coming in
Anna.
now.
Awesome. Welcome, all of you. I got to say first, it's a chilly day in Detroit today. It's
Mm,
only 20 Celsius, and it's raining,
yeah,
like, for the
similar here.
last 24 hours.
Yep, yep.
So, I can't really complain about that because we don't usually get a lot of rain in July, although it's been a little wetter than normal.
Mm,
And everything grows like a foot after a good rain.
yeah.
So, I'm very excited to see how everything will look tomorrow. So, we have a wedding on Saturday here in the
Mm.
garden. So I'm hoping everything's just gonna bloom magically because not
Magic.
everything's timed right,
Well, that's the
you know?
hardest part, isn't it?
Well,
Is the
I guess if I
timing.
was a professional event planner, I probably might be better at that. But, we didn't even know we were doing that before the season started, or
Exactly,
I would have,
exactly.
like, things would be a lot different. But anyway, uh, yeah, I'm hoping that, all my flowers really take a burst. So you're
Mhm.
also a little cooler and rainy today too?
Yeah, the sun has literally just come out as of the last hour or so, but it has been windstorms, rain, just
Yeah.
miserable weather, and it's been like that just on and off. Like even if it's forecasted for a full sunny day, you'll just get random bouts of rain that haven't been forecasted, and it's so frustrating to plan for anything.
Well, and
Um,
that's how it's like, no, there's no rain on the forecast, and all of a sudden
mm,
it's pouring.
yeah, that's what I
That
mean.
is
It's just
very unusual for us.
so I don't. I mean, if this is how our weather's going to be going forward, I really, I think we're going to struggle.
Well, it does change the whole gardening piece
It does.
because today, 20, I'd be outside in the garden,
Hmm.
but tomorrow it's gonna be up at 30 again and sunny, and I'm not gonna wanna be out in the garden in that.
No,
That's a
no.
little hot for me, but I'm gonna need to be because that's Thursday and the wedding's Saturday, so,
Oh, it's
uh,
exciting. You're
yeah,
still gonna
so
have, you said you were gonna have, like, have, like, the dinner outdoors and have all the flowers there. Is that still the
yes,
plan? Yeah.
everything is outside, so we will see.
Oh,
I
good.
might, end up entertaining some folks inside where it's nice and cool.
Yeah.
So, we will see how much we end up staying outside.
Absolutely.
Uh, so before we get into flowers, which is the whole reason we're here, um, how is your garden going this year?
Mm, really bad. Really bad. So, it's just been I mean, outside of I've just had so much stuff on recently, we've just been super busy. Outside of that, I think everyone like we were just talking about, the weather has had such an impact. Everything that I had sown at the start of the year, has literally just been slug attacked countless times. The amount of sowings I've done. So I didn't get round to my grand plan of having a little bit of everything, and
Yeah,
I've ended up just having to, sort of settle for just a select few. So I've just got my staples in the garden at the moment, which have just come into bloom now, and they should have been in bloom months ago. So
right.
I'm feeling really behind, but
Yeah, I've had a lot
yeah,
of things bolt that normally
yeah,
they'd be done before it
that's
got
it.
hot. And yet hot just came on super strong.
Feels
And
weird,
so
doesn't
they
it?
bolted. It is.
Yeah,
And it's a little
everything
frustrating.
feels just out of sync. Out of sync is the only word I can describe this year, and it's so frustrating.
Yeah. Yeah. I usually get a lot of lettuce
Mm.
and it's all just
Yes,
bolted
yeah.
because I put spring lettuce in. And
Ah, right.
and now I'm thinking, I don't think I should ever put in spring lettuce again. Just
Yeah.
put in the summer stuff and,
Let
let
it
it
go.
have at it, right?
Yeah.
Uh, now did you get a new plot or a second plot? No?
Mm.
Was that just a maybe a thought?
I haven't confirmed, but I've been looking at a new growing space.
Okay.
Um, so yeah,
Okay, and
that's
I don't
some
mean for you to have to, like,
no, it's fine.
come clean. on
Yes. So I've been looking at a new growing space, but nothing's confirmed yet. But yeah, there's potential for a flower specific space. So
wouldn't that be?
yeah, it'd be amazing.
You'd have to
It'd
wear
be
a
amazing.
beekeeper suit, though, if you
Oh,
go there.
well, I can say this, so I've looked at this space, and when I went to look at it, there was ground bees there, and I was sort of like swatting them away, and I was like, oh no, this is something I've got to deal with again. But they're just so cute. I just don't want to move them on. But yeah, that would be a possibility.
Yeah, I have a lot of lavender,
Mm,
and the bees are
they go
all
mad.
over it, all over it. They're just
Is
it's like the lavender's moving, and then
yes,
when you get
I've
up close, you realize, "Oh, no, those are furry
it's
little
buzzing.
friends that are buzzing
Although
all around
saying
it."
that, it's very concerning because this year I haven't seen it. Well, I usually do. Well, this time of year, it's the big butterfly count, which the UK usually does. So you'll
Okay,
sit outside for 15 minutes. I think I mentioned it last year. You sit outside for 15 minutes each day and sort of record what butterflies you see, and
right,
it helps towards sort of knowing which species are where and if they're still thriving.
right.
Nothing this year, and I don't know if it's just
Oh,
because the lack of things growing because of the weather and the slugs and the this knock-on effect, but the same with bees. I've seen hardly any bees, I've seen hardly any butterflies, and it's just
okay.
yeah, getting worried. Yeah.
Yeah, because they're just a beautiful part of the garden, aren't they?
Mhm.
At least the
Yeah,
butterflies. I mean, I love seeing the bees because I know they're busy
yeah.
doing
But the
what
butterflies
I
as
really
well.
don't wanna have to do with a paintbrush, right? I don't wanna have to
Yeah.
self pollinate everything. Um,
But yeah, the
oh,
growing space is yet to be confirmed, but it's as things are going, if I do get it, yeah, it would be so amazing next year because basically I'm moving to another house, which means I'm going to have a bigger growing space. There's like a big conservatory. There's a big greenhouse there already. So I'll have that space, then a new flower growing space. So all goes well, fingers
lovely.
crossed.
Yeah, lovely.
Next year will be better.
So have you been able to harvest anything from
Not
your
yet.
garden?
Not
No?
yet. I've harvested garlic.
Yep.
That's it. That's it this year. How bad is that?
Well, a good garlic crop is still a good garlic crop, right?
Mm. Well,
And my onions are only sort of some of them are ready,
yeah.
most of them are not. So I'm just kind of, waiting on that, but I was able to overwinter an onion, which
Really?
never knew
Oh,
in my climate could happen, and they're
how?
lovely.
Which
They
ones
are
was it? Do you have
It was
similar
Walla Walla,
Walla
and
Walla, okay, yeah, yeah.
yeah, and it's a sweeter, onion. I think it's more like a Pacific Northwest
Nice.
kinda onion, but, they're
How
doing
funny.
great. I know, so I thought, "Oh, gotta remember to" because I never think of things to plant over winter.
Yeah. But now
So
you
the
know that works. Just
Yes.
keep
So I'm
amazing.
gonna double down on them for this
Yeah.
next and maybe not do spring onions.
No, that would be brilliant. And were
But
they
yeah,
seed? Did you do them for seed or
I
set?
did them from seed,
Stop it. That's brilliant.
and we just planted them out and thought, "Okay, hope you do well," and they did fabulous.
Amazing.
Yeah, and it was a cold winter,
Mm,
so I love that they were able to do that.
brilliant. That's really good.
Okay, so what's your best flower this year?
This year, snapdragons, funny enough. Snapdragons have done so well, and they're
And those are
the
from seed.
best. How fun are they?
Oh, they're gorgeous, and they're from seed.
Oh, all from seed. So all the ones that I did,
Wow.
this is probably like my 4th sowing that didn't get attacked. This is what it was like my last ditch attempt, and they came through. And it was I've got the madam butterfly yet to bloom, but they're just there.
'Cause
But
they're a later bloomer.
they're a
Yeah,
later bloomer, but they're just there. I can see them
yeah,
like budding up and the colours there. I'm just like every time I check, I'm like, oh, what are you going to look like? But the Chantilly light salmon ones, so they're kind of like
uh-huh,
all the frilly open
yeah,
ones. They're all the ones that have bloomed so far, and oh, I'll have them every year. They're so nice. I can try and send. I took a photo because my whole phone is full of just agriculture and flowers.
yeah,
Um,
photos.
let's see. It's weird because it changed color, which I wasn't expecting. So this is get in there.
Oh,
That's
isn't it
the Chantilly light salmon just as it's
beautiful?
opened. So it's
I like
very
the
orange.
gloves. I like those
Mm.
leopard gloves, those are cute. Are those
Birthday
gardening
present.
gloves?
Yeah.
Yeah, those are cute.
That's the same flower, but it's now
Wow,
turned like a
very
golden
yellow.
yellow, so you
Yeah.
get kind of 2 flushes of colour. Beautiful. And then this one was apple blossom, twinny apple blossom.
Oh, pretty.
So again, frilly opening, and it's kind of got, it doesn't show as well there, but a yellow center, and then it goes pink and white.
Oh, nice.
They're so good, and you just keep cutting them, and they come back bigger and bigger.
Exactly,
So
the more you cut them, the more you get.
they're beautiful. I
Yeah,
think so they're lining the whole of my allotment at the moment. So at the very border of my allotment, I've got like a whole row of them. And I've done them in different as the so starting from pink going down to like orange and white. So
nice.
I think I'll do that every year now. They're just so nice. So easy as well.
Now,
Really.
when you say easy, I have yet to successfully grow a snapdragon from seed.
There is a trick to it. There is a, so the ones I really fussed and I hovered over constantly died every time. But the ones that I just kind of like put in a little tray and just forgot about them, they're the ones that survived. They just, I think they thrive on neglect a little bit,
Wow.
but it's because they're so tiny from when,
Oh, they're so tiny.
and they're slow. They're slow.
Okay,
But once they
maybe.
get going, they're gone. Like they just shoot off. So once they get past that tiny sort of seedling, when they get their first true leaves, once they get their first true leaves, they kind of stall for a little bit and then they just go. So I think that's
Yeah,
the
I don't
time.
think I've ever gotten them to their first true leaves.
Really?
They just seem
They
to
are.
stall right at that little boop. We're here. We're
Yeah.
only an eighth of an inch tall, and we have a
They might
little,
die.
and they don't seem to go past that.
No.
So maybe I should just sprinkle seed outside and see what happens.
I mean, that's, I think they probably prefer that. When I did them, so I did them a couple ways. So I did them in soil blocks. They didn't like it, dried out way too quickly. Did them in cell, the little just normal cell trays. Didn't like that. But soon as I put loads of them in just a little, just a tray full of compost, put loads of them all together, they like that. And then I can just thin them out. That was the only way they seemed to thrive. Was I just
Okay.
threw them all in a tray, let them go crazy.
So you
Um,
thinned them out after they had their first leaves on?
Yeah, yeah, just picked
Okay.
them out and just then started putting them in their own thing.
Okay, because we did something similar to that. They
Mhm.
never got past their seed leaves, and separating those
Oh,
was
yeah.
like, cataract surgery. Like, "Come on, really? We're
Yeah,
gonna replace," so ridiculous, and I thought, "Oh, how can I not grow a snapdragon?"
so rewarding though, I think
I
if
know,
you
so
can.
I'm not giving up. I am
No,
not giving
please.
up, but I'm frustrated. 'Cause it's probably one of my favorite flowers.
Oh, they're so nice.
I know, and there's this variety called Orange Wonder,
Oh, I remember you showing me, yeah.
and it's kinda orange and pink, and it
Yes.
has a little yellow center.
Like a little tutti frutti
It
lollipop, isn't it?
it's
Oh, it's
just
great.
stunning, and I really want that to go.
Well, you could
Oh,
do, I think maybe not snapdragons because the second sown of flowers is coming up. So I'm starting to think of biennials, which biennials to sow now, and starting to get your bulbs in. So your
yeah.
spring flowering stuff towards the end of this year. So starting to plan all that now. I can't remember if snapdragons is one of the ones you can start late in the year. You might be able to get away with it if you wanted to try again.
I
Maybe.
think you know what I'm probably gonna do is winter sow them
Yes.
in
Yeah.
my
That,
jug and just
yeah.
throw them out there and let them fend for themselves, or
Absolutely.
maybe do about 4 jugs, so
Yeah.
I might get 4 plants.
Yeah. They
But,
do you know what,
you
they
know
do like it. They do like the winter sown. I say one of the ones that I did like that didn't get attacked by a slug survived, and it was quite tall now. Well, it has to be. It's been growing for ages, but they liked the winter sowing, so I
okay, I think
think it'll
that's
work.
the plant. Now do you find a lot of pollinators on your snapdragons?
Not that I've seen, not that I've seen yet. But then they've got on my plot, they've got the choice of comfrey, flowering comfrey, and borage, and they seem to prefer that anyway. So they
Well,
don't really ever
borage is
come.
a biggie.
Yeah, they like the borage. They don't really come over to that side anymore because it's on the other side of the allotment.
Now do you have trouble keeping the borage, um, in one space?
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
It's popping up everywhere. I
Yeah,
didn't even sew it. It's just appeared one day and I was like, "Ooh, I should keep an eye on that." And then I'm like, "Oh, it's over here now. Oh, no."
okay. Yeah, I have has this is the only garden I haven't had it in
Mm,
because I'm like, I don't know if I wanna chase that around the yard."
No, it's not
And
worth it.
I know the bees love it and all of that, but
And
yeah,
once it grows, it's hard to get out because it gets big. It gets
yeah, and it's one of
just
those
spreads.
things that you just see everywhere once it's in.
Mm. No,
Yeah.
absolutely. Even white in the wild, when you're some woodlands will have it, and it just goes for miles, and you think, "Oh god, at
I wish
least
I
it's
could get
somewhere."
some things that I really, really, really liked to do that.
Mm.
It always seems like I mean, it's a beautiful plant. It's
Yeah.
wonderful, but, just goes way too far.
I've seen
Maybe
it.
I could put that in a pot.
Yeah. What, and put it in the ground or have it just in a pot?
Just in a pot, like in a big pot.
Then if it self-seeds.
Yeah. So I'd have to get it before it self-seeds.
Yeah.
I let my chives go too long this year, and
Mm.
I know I'm going to be pulling chives next spring, like, it's my job.
Forever. That's good.
Oh,
That's
this
like
is
me and chard. I can't get rid of it. It's just everywhere, constantly, every
it's so
year.
funny, I thought of you. I finally got mine in, and I
No,
thought of
don't do
you
it.
going, "Oh, I'm planting this on purpose." Well, I do like a little bit of chard. I'm not probably at Jesse's level of loving chard,
Jessie loves
but,
it.
I like it.
Okay.
So, a few plants.
I'll
And that
send you some of
rainbow chard is
mine.
pretty even if you just leave it in the garden.
I like the rainbow chard, but out of just pure principle of knowing if I sow this in the ground, there's gonna be tons of it. I will not. I refuse.
See, mine never self-seeds. So
Maybe that's the problem. But then it wasn't me. I was about to say maybe that's the problem. I've let it self-seed, but it was the person before me that let it self-seed. And now I've
so
got
it's
years of
so
it.
you have chard and a lot of asparagus.
Yeah, everywhere.
So that's what they
Everywhere.
loved. Obviously, those were
That's
their
that was all
maybe
they
their
grew. That was it. Yeah.
wow.
Yeah, that's what I was
Interesting
told.
combo.
And it's a big
Interesting
plot.
interesting combo.
Mm.
I did see Allie from the Right Pear Plot
Mhm.
is in the house, and, it was so funny. We were talking about tomatoes on Potty Mouth on Monday, and
Yes.
Alice's dream came up, and I had watched, Allie transplant some, but they were, side shoots.
Okay, yeah.
So she was,
Suckers.
planting up a few for a friend, and, I just laughed because she had said, "Those were side shoots," and I'm like, "Oh my gosh, they were." So they were huge,
Yes.
and I was saying how tiny they were because that's what we were talking about, and, so thank you, Allie, for correcting me on that one.
They
I I
say, don't they, it's the
I
side shoots grow
seriously
better?
laughed. I'm gonna try a
Yeah,
few right now.
do
It's
it.
the side suit shoot challenge, I think we're calling it.
Yes, I saw no, sucker
The
challenge?
sucker
Sucker challenge? That was it.
that's a better
It's
name.
good.
The sucker challenge. So I'm gonna do that actually tomorrow, pull off a
Mhm.
couple
That'll be
because
good.
I had 2 not really thrive, and I
Right.
do things in a pattern, and I really hate when, like, there's a gap.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
just that makes me kinda nuts.
Doesn't
So
look
I
right, does it?
It doesn't, and even if you put something else in, it just always looks like, "Well, that doesn't look right." So, I'm hoping to get 2 more of my dwarf, what are they? Purple plums.
Nice.
Oh, they're so good.
They're nice.
They're really a sauce tomato, and I just love 'em.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, Allie, I'm just gonna talk on her a little bit.
Mhm.
She's got tomatoes, like I've never seen. She trimmed 50 today
Cool.
and cut stems bigger than some people's toms. Well, I'm
Wow.
sure they're bigger than mine for
Mm.
sure. Mine are they're moving, but they're not moving quickly. But no, she's got tomatoes everywhere, and they're
Good for
beautiful. They're like tall and wow.
I bet it smells love. Do you know when you brush a tomato or you go past a tomato and
Yes.
there's that smell? It
It's like a
smells so
fresh
good.
tomato. You're like, when is that first red or ripe tomato coming?
Yeah.
'Cause isn't it the
Smells so
best?
good.
That's the best taste of spring or not spring, summer,
Mm.
is, getting that first tomato. Oh
112.
oh my gosh, 112 tomato plants.
Oh my god.
I thought that thumbnail was kidding when you said over 100 tomato plants. Wow. Okay, you are like the tomato queen. I
How has
don't
that
think
happened though? Was that planned, or was it one of those ones where you've sown them all and gone, "My babies, I can't kill them. I
yeah, I have
must
a hard
keep
time.
them."
I have a hardest time getting rid of things.
That's
But
what
I
I'm
did get
like.
rid of, 1 zucchini plant,
Well,
because how many of
mm,
those do you really
yeah,
need?
exactly,
I
exactly.
usually don't grow them, but I wanted one this year, so I did get rid of one. Uh, oh, I bet they do.
Yeah.
Allie's hands still smell like tomato. Didn't you get that green? There's like a or it's a dark thing that's hard to get off when you do a lot of tomato pruning. And I think it's off the
Like a
stems.
stain? It's
Yeah,
stained?
it's like a stain,
Really?
and it smells
Oh.
like fresh tomatoes, but it doesn't look good.
No. There's only so much as well. Imagine you smell it all the time, you'd be like, "Oh, maybe I don't like the smell anymore."
Maybe I don't like the fact that my hands are kind of
Green.
discolored and look really dirty. So snapdragons are your front runner for sure.
Mhm.
How are your dahlias?
Late, but they're on the way. So I've literally only just been starting to get them in.
Okay.
So all my collarettes are in. They're bulbing up, so they're just there again, just so close. But yeah, I'm maybe next 2 weeks. I reckon they'll be in bloom.
Yeah.
But yeah, I've got over. In the end, I think I had over 30 dahlias go in. Um,
Okay. That'll
I
be a
want
beautiful
to.
show.
Yes, I'm excited to see, but they're all at, like, varying levels, so I don't know whether to just chop them all back and have them at one level and they all come in at the same time, or just let them grow as they're going now 'cause they're in so late. Yeah, I don't know. I think I'm just gonna leave them. I don't know.
No, when you said they're in so late.
I'd usually get them in, so if they were tubers, I'd usually get them in June. If they're, well, to be fair, I've got a combination of cuttings, so the ones that don't have the tubers, and then the actual tubers themselves that have gone in. So the latest they should have gone in really was probably the back end of June. And I've only literally got them in as of last week, so they've been growing along in their
Okay.
pots, which is fine, but they've not been in the ground, so they're not getting as much vigor as they should have. But yeah, just a slow year.
Yeah, I purchased my first dahlias last year.
Yeah.
They were okay, not my favorite, so I
Mm.
started some from seed this year. They grew
Yes.
beautifully, unlike my
Yeah.
snapdragons, and they are right on the verge of blooming. So
That's
I'm
gonna be
hope
so fun.
so I'm hoping after this day of rain,
Yeah.
maybe they will. I'm ready to give
Start to
them a
reboot.
shot of, like, Miracle
Oh.
Grow, that blue neon fertilizer,
Mm.
and just see
If
if
it
that
boosts them.
throws them over the edge.
It's not a bad shout, to be fair. It might
Yeah,
even like a I'm not sure if it'll work for flowers at the budding stage, but even like a foliar spray might give them a little
just a
wake
little
up.
something to
Yeah, a little something.
'cause if they opened by Saturday, that would be just
That would be brilliant.
spectacular, right?
Yeah. Do you
But
know that they starting to show what colour they might be? Because it's when you sow them from seed, it's a complete mystery what you'll get,
it
isn't it?
is. It is. Now
I'm
I
so
ordered these
excited.
from Floret, which
Oh,
is a
oh,
beautiful,
they're gonna
flower,
be good.
and
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure I ordered a color that I was gonna like. I
yeah.
don't know if I remember what the color was.
'Cause her colours are all very much like I think she calls
They're
one of the
beautiful.
series, like, precious metals, so kind of
Yeah.
that rose gold. Oh,
Yes. They're all
really
just
nice.
very subtle and
Yeah.
yeah. So I
Oh,
think that's what
jealous.
this is.
Yeah. 'Cause I
Um,
saw her she released seeds to the UK, I think, for one of the very first times, but for me, I think it was, like, £17 for a packet of seeds. I was like, "They're gonna be really, really nice, but I kinda can't."
I know they're I we pay, $18
Yeah, so it's the
for a
same.
packet.
This is
So
yeah,
it's like an
so
investment seed, right?
it's definitely an investment seed. I think if I was a proper actual like flower farmer, florist, I might invest, but I thought I've
Right.
already got 30 dahlias, I probably should. So held off
Yeah,
on that one.
and you dig those up every year, don't you?
Yeah,
You're
yeah,
one of those good dahlia gardeners that
yeah.
make sure they're happy. Uh, so any other flowers that we'll stay on the positive side, and then we'll go to
Mhm.
the other side. Anything else that's doing really well?
Sunflowers? sunflowers. So I've done a few sunflowers. I think you might have mentioned you've done. Oh no, you were doing the Van Gogh ones, weren't you?
Mhm, and a rabbit yeah, I
Hey,
think it was a rabbit ate them all.
yeah, yeah. I was
So
doing the Pro Cut series. So
yes, those are
yes,
lovely.
so doing a few of the Pro Cut series. So for anyone who doesn't know what they are, they're just kind of they're specifically designed for cut flowers, so the stronger stems, bigger. But they also come in a variety of nice colours. So you can get like pinks, whites, and then different kind of whites. So mine are just mainly white, basically.
Right,
And
and
then
they have no
Miss
pollen
Mums,
either, I think,
they have no. I don't
which
think they have
al
any
also
pollen.
makes them nice to bring inside.
Yeah, yeah.
Yes.
So I've done a few of them. They're getting quite big now. And again, nothing. It's not bloomed yet, but they're looking good. So yeah, I'm
Oh, good.
hoping for the
I'm
best.
gonna actually throw some seeds in the ground and put I have little waste baskets that are wire,
Yeah,
and I'm gonna
put 'em on
put those
top.
over until they're big enough, because
That's
that's
such a good
about
idea.
12 inches tall,
Yeah.
and then, I don't know, try to do something that the rabbits hate. I don't know what that is.
I was gonna say, what they eat anything, surely?
They ate my, giganti climbing beans down to the nub. I'm like, "How can you do that?
That's
Wait till
did
it's."
you do you have this problem? Is this a new problem that's come in, or is
This
this
is a new problem. I think we
yeah.
have a very aggressive family of bunnies that live really close.
No.
Uh, yeah, and they'll just eat they took out my entire strawberry patch. We
No.
didn't get one strawberry from it.
Oh
So if
my
we didn't
god.
have a,
That's
farmer's
devastating.
market, we would
Yeah.
not have had strawberries this spring.
Oh my god.
They just 'cause I plant them with my asparagus, and
Mm.
they just
Yes.
cleaned them out. Cleaned it out. Left the plants, didn't disturb the plants, so next year they will have another,
That's
lovely
it. Now they're
buffet of
here,
strawberry. But
how
next
do you
year,
get rid of them?
we're not gonna have a wedding in the backyard, so
True.
I'm putting up some serious defenses against the rabbit. How we're gonna get into that, I have no idea, but
Yeah,
the rabbits
do
are not having
something.
them. Yeah, the
Yeah.
rabbits are not getting them.
I've heard that they're like a plague of locusts, like, they can clean out everything so quickly and in such vastness as well,
They
so
took out 12 bean plants overnight,
yeah, that's
and they were quite tall, and they
devastating.
just ate every leaf, and
They just start from the bottom, don't they? Start from the bottom and just gobble it up, basically.
yeah, I don't know how they do it. Like, how do you get that you can't get that tall.
No.
Um,
Mm.
yeah, Siggy, you're correct, very naughty bunnies, and the woman that I work with in my garden
Mm.
just thinks they're the cutest thing that ever lived,
Yeah.
and I'm like, "Yeah, they're c I guess cute if you like things with eyeballs on the side of their heads, but I'm not."
Nunchucks.
After this year, I'm not a fan. They can go
So
s
it's squirrels. Squirrels
they can
are
go
not
live
in the
with
good books.
squirrels. Yeah, I wish
Rubbish.
squirrels would, like, take on rabbits.
A little fiery battle.
I'd love to see that rumble. Yeah,
Oh.
absolutely. So anything else doing good?
I've got a few. So when I said I'm concentrating a few staples, so I've got a few status that are coming up and stock. So they're really cool. Again, never sewn them before, but just basically getting all this stuff now that's ready to go in arrangements. So timing. As soon as
It
it all comes up, I can do it.
yes, it's crazy. Uh, Chris is asking if we're having another Wednesday wine bunny whine. I do wine Wednesdays with a friend.
Yeah.
She just comes over and we, have a little wine, and then, it was recommended after I think it was a couple weeks ago, I
Yeah.
was whining really bad, and then it was suggested that it's Wine Wednesday.
Wine Wednesday.
Uh, so no, I'm kinda over the bunnies, and,
Mm,
they're what they are this year, and
absolutely.
but the problem is 2 weeks later, there's a whole 'nother set of them. So
Yeah, they don't stop.
there's been little bunnies in the yard, like, most of
Oh.
summer, and I'm like, "They can't all be the same litter."
No,
Right? And bunnies, what is their gestation, 2 weeks? I mean,
pretty much.
it
It's
seems
very
like
quick
I
turnaround.
feel like snap your fingers and they're done. So, anyway, yeah, so maybe we'll have wine a little more next week, and we'll have a glass
Mhm.
of wine while we do it. Um, anyway, so, my sunflowers were horribly eaten.
Eaten. Ugh,
What else has not all my wheat, I was growing that as a vase filler.
yes.
Black
How's
tip
that come
wheat
along?
didn't survive.
Really?
I don't know if it was the heat, but I
Yeah.
would think,
Wait,
you
is
see
that
the
they can
pictures of
survive?
plains where there's wheat
Yeah.
fields, and I'm thinking, those are out in the middle of the desert. I mean, that's
Yeah.
but they didn't do anything. Maybe it was older seed.
So
Um,
bizarre, isn't it?
yeah, so I've had a very interesting growth year. Uh, my
Same.
celosia is finally starting to do some blooming.
Yes. Which one did you go for in the end?
I
Was it
went
kind of like a grass or one of the fan ones?
It's one of the ones that comes up in, like, a little flower, like a little it looks like a flame,
Yes.
the
Oh,
flower.
like the
Yeah.
flamingo feathers, that's what they call it. Yeah.
Yes, yes, but I got them in again, another one from Floret. I got
Oh,
the amber ways. Yeah, they have such beautiful names for their
they
stuff.
do.
And then more of a dark one that I thought might look pretty with some of my lighter flowers
Yes.
as a
Okay.
filler. I don't see a lot of pollinator activity over there,
Mm.
um,
Yeah.
but they're not, real
I
big
think
yet, they're still kind of small,
yeah,
so I'm gonna give that a little bit, of
exciting.
time.
That is exciting. I do like those ones as well.
Yeah, so that's kind of a new one. Oh, I also grew new this year, coleus, and,
Yeah.
oh my word.
Oh, is that kinda like they call it something nettle, don't they? Is it the one that's kinda like it's like a leaf, but it's like looks like it's been painted? Is it
Yes,
coleus?
and
Yes.
this one is dark. Oh, it's almost black around the edges and a
Wow,
very dark burgundy on the inside.
nice.
It is stunning.
Do
So
you know
I
what? Are they good for sort of box arrangements when people do hanging baskets? I'm trying to envision, or is it
I
more of
have
like a
them
border?
I have them on my deck. I
Ah,
have
okay.
them because I have, like, 9 tubs in a row that are lined up, so I have this dark coleus,
Mhm.
an orange Aztec zinnia in there, and then
Nice.
a multicolored, pepper that I'm not gonna eat, it's just for the color.
Wow, okay.
Um, but these coleus, I will never not grow those again
Are they
because
that
where
good?
they're located, they're sun and shade,
Right,
and
okay.
they are outperforming everything in the pot.
Yeah.
So I
Oh,
think,
okay.
"Wow, this is" they're beautiful,
I think I might
and
try
they
them
seem to
next year
be
then.
having a little seed pod coming off the top. So I'm
What?
kinda interested to see what this
What's it gonna do?
almost like an amaranth.
Right,
I
okay.
don't know if it's gonna, you know,
Hmm,
weep over like the amaranth does, but
that's really
I
bizarre.
yeah, I'm very excited to see how they what they look like in the fall.
Yeah, send us a photo in the chat because 'cause I'd be interested to see what they look like. That's really bizarre.
Yeah, and I actually gonna do a, garden tour
Yes.
probably Friday night or Saturday morning
Oh,
before the
good, yeah.
festivities, because it's probably gonna be the best my garden looks for the whole year.
It's the big event. It's
It is, and everything is, like, being manicured, like, it's a professional, location. So,
brilliant.
yeah, so that would be a really good time for a plot tour. Um, yeah, so that's been a big surprise for me this year.
Mm.
That one.
As
Yeah, you
Yeah. Oh, sorry, I was gonna
oh,
say, oh, no, I've lost it now.
okay.
Sorry.
Oh, they don't like frost. Okay. Yeah, no,
Oh,
I figure this is definitely a warm weather plant and kinda like tomatoes, once the frost hits, it's over.
right.
That's kinda how most of my plants are.
Yeah.
Well, particularly if we
Most
get a hard
annuals.
frost. Sometimes our first frost is super hard,
Hmm.
and so and then it's warms up a little bit. I'm like, "Could you just maybe push off the hard frost? Because some
Please.
things would still make it, right?"
When do you
Anyway,
get your first frost then? Around late autumn, I guess?
late it varies, um,
Yeah.
late October, early November.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's
That's
really
quite similar to
scheduled
what we
it's
had.
scheduled earlier than that, but it never happens earlier than
No.
that. At least not one that I'm worried is gonna kill everything.
Yeah, no,
You
that's
know,
it.
it might get down to, um, I don't know, 32, which for you is 0 by
Well,
then,
okay.
but it doesn't always kill everything.
Yeah,
You
it
know,
kind
my
of blackens
lettuces
it or
yeah,
damages it a little bit.
well, like, it takes out a tomato and a pepper, but
Mm.
it won't I can still grow some crops in that, at
Yeah.
least for a little bit.
Okay. Okay.
So my grasses did not do well.
No.
Again, I was growing, broomstick corn just
Oh,
for
yeah.
fall decoration. Didn't do well.
Thing
I feel like I have a black thumb this year. I
the
don't know
thing
if
is,
yeah,
it's good because it's not good, but it's kind of I feel like everyone I've spoken to about how this year has gone in terms of growing, everyone said the exact same thing. So the
yeah,
pressure's not so much at first I was like, "Oh my god, it's something I'm doing," and it probably is a little bit, but the fact that everyone's saying the same thing, you kind of think, "Oh, okay, okay, I'll
I
just let
know.
this it's just a bad year. I'll just let this year go." You know, just
It's a bad year for
it's a
sure.
bad year,
My
I
onions are
think.
doing great,
Mhm.
even the spring ones that I've put in,
Mm.
so I can go, "Yay for onions." My rhubarb did
Yes, forever.
okay, right?
Yeah.
Uh, rhubarb did okay, what else?
Mhm.
Tomatoes are living,
Yeah.
peppers are living, so
Yeah.
that's I'm happy about that. Um,
The big things that everyone really wanted seems to have just, yeah, not done well this year.
yeah, my variety of stuff, um, didn't go, quite as well.
Mhm.
But I am gonna plant I think I'm gonna plant, like, a lavender, in each of my beds
Okay.
just to get the pollinators right
Mm.
where the food is.
Yes. Yeah, yeah.
Um, so I think that would not only smell nice when you walk around, but, I'm so impressed with how the bees love this. I don't know if it's
Yeah.
the kind
They
I
go
have
mad.
or but it's a great attractor. Um, what else was I thinking? Oh, I just got my zucchini and squash and cucumbers in.
Oh, just in I was about to say, what, harvest?
No,
No,
they
in.
just went in. Uh, so very late, for
Yeah.
those.
They're quite
Uh,
quick though, aren't they, to catch
oh,
up?
yeah, they'll
They'll
catch up,
they'll
no
speed.
time.
Yeah.
And, I was my pea year was so good that I
Mhm.
didn't wanna pull the peas off the trellis that the beans
Yeah.
go up, and then the
Just leave them.
bunnies took care of the teepee beans that I had,
Course they did.
and I have no more decanthy seeds for this year, so I'm
Oh, so
just gonna go,
annoying.
"Okay, it's alright.
Yeah,
Well,
let it go. Let it go.
let it exactly, just let it go."
Let it go.
Yeah, um, so anything that you're particularly disappointed with the flowers that didn't make it?
My cosmos. I had 1 cosmos, and I had probably at least 6 varieties. I know we spoke about a few of them I had going. They
Yeah,
just one thing I learned about them this year is they get very leggy very quickly, so I would not be sowing them in March again. I think I'd wait much later. Um, and slugs love them. Slugs will absolutely demolish them in seconds. So, and zinnias. I don't get any zinnias either.
oh,
No zinnias. And again, I had loads of varieties of that, and slugageddon. I just absolutely demolished everything.
I don't know how you deal
Nightmare.
with slugs.
Oh, they're
That
awful.
to me would be, like, make bunnies and squirrels look very friendly,
Mm.
because they just come out of nowhere
They
and
come out of nowhere and they come in their hordes as well. Like if you go out in an evening, let alone at an evening where it's been constantly raining for the past 5 days, you go out there and they're all like coming up together, like walking down the path and in hand, and you just think, go away. Just fed you yesterday, go away. But yeah, they're nightmare.
so do you know what their purpose is in the, food chain? Like, who eats them other than that one slug that eats other slugs?
I really don't know what the only thing I can think of is they might poop out nutrients. I don't know, but other than that, oh, to decompose stuff, I guess, is their
Like, do birds eat
rotting.
those?
Birds will eat them, yeah. Birds will eat them.
Okay.
Hedgehog might eat them. I don't know if that's true actually.
Okay.
Um,
I just
yes.
always wonder about
Yeah.
these very horrible, things, like, what is their purpose,
Mm-mm.
in
I'm
this
not.
world?
I'm pretty sure it's for like rotting vegetation is their main sort of job, but they've probably branched out and they think, why can we have rotting vegetation when we can just eat your fresh ones? So
Yes.
they've evolved. They've evolved to
Chris
be
is
annoying.
Chris is asking a question.
Mm.
Ranunculus
Oh yeah.
sparaxis.
When do you
I'm
plant
not
these?
even
When do you
gonna
do
I'm not
them?
even gonna try to pronounce that other one.
Hmm.
When do you plant these, and are they good pollinators?
Uh, Ranunculus, I know. I admit I don't know what Sparaxis or Ixa is.
Yeah, that's a tough
Um,
one.
Ranunculus, though, at least I know here, you can plant them at 2 different times in the year. Um, as far as I know, I don't think you need separate varieties. You just get the corms and you plant them at different times of the year. So you probably could do some autumn ranunculus. So plant them in autumn so they flower over in spring. And you probably do that at the back end of October. Again, don't quote me on this. I'm just going from how other cycles go. So you could probably plant them in October for them to come through in springtime, March, April. But then the other side of the coin is you can plant them in March and April, so they come through in obviously spring. So there's two times in the year basically you can plant those.
Yeah, mine
Yeah,
didn't those are another one that didn't I got corms.
yeah.
I started them indoors so I could get them out early. They didn't live to see the outdoors.
No,
I
they're
don't know
weird.
I don't know what happened. I'm
Yeah.
thinking I might start them from seed next year.
Okay.
That's an option, and if I can get it rolling, I have very good success with growing
Yeah.
things indoors.
Mhm.
Uh, but
Yeah,
yeah,
'cause someone said to me they're quite hard to grow, and I didn't realize, but mine were okay, and I did exactly the same thing you did. I kind of soak them. I think you soak them for 3 hours or a couple
yes,
hours before you plant them, so they get really fat, don't they? You
right.
start off really slim and skinny, and then they quite expand quite a bit. And then you just get a little seed cell tray, a tiny bit of compost. Just let kind of like what you do with onion sets, let their roots start, and then once they start doing shoots, that's when you plant them in
Yeah,
into wherever you want them. But
I think
they,
I
yeah,
hung on
apparently
to
they
them.
can rot.
Yeah, I think I hung on to them too long, and I think they did
Yeah,
rot.
they think
I
they
think
rot
that's actually
easily.
what happened.
Yeah.
I wanna give a shout out to David Austin Roses today. I did a video a little while back on planting a bare root David Austin rose, and we went through all the correct steps. I was like, following it, and it did not do anything. It's
Really?
dead as a doornail. Uh,
What?
and I called them today because they say they have a 5-year guarantee,
Yeah.
and I
Yeah.
thought, "Is it because we had such a hot summer?" But I watered it, we gave it the appropriate nutrition when we
Yeah.
planted it, and they were just like, "Yeah, we'll send you a form."
Oh,
And, I thought and now they do ask for a picture of the dead rose, and I'm like,
right.
"That's fair." Uh, but it was just so very, "No problem. This happens. Sometimes they don't thrive."
Yeah.
So, I'm gonna say if you're at all interested in getting a rose bush,
Mm.
what a I was just very impressed with their customer service, like, that was
They're good.
no harm, no foul, and,
Oh, good.
I like that. So
Yeah.
now I'm gonna order, uh, the same Gertrude Jekyll,
Oh,
but
beautiful.
planted in the fall as a
Okay.
potted rose bush.
Right.
Like,
Okay.
send it to me in a pot, and
Yes.
yeah, I don't wanna do
Do
this
it that way.
dry what is it?
Yeah.
Bare root.
Bare root is, yeah, it's quite,
strawberries.
it's hard.
Some make it and some
Finicky.
don't, and I'm
Yeah.
like, "I don't like those odds." I'd prefer to get it in dirt.
Yes.
That it's already
And no, it's
doing something. It's already,
mm.
establishing itself.
It's more satisfying, especially from David Austin, because I think I've got 5 roses and they're all David Austin and, all bare root, but I've also ordered some for friends and family where I've done it potted, and it's so much more satisfying, like, you get it and it's already in flower, so
Yeah,
you get it ready there, to go, and then you get the bare root, and they're all chopped down, they're all looking dead, and you've got to do X, Y, and Z to get them going again. It's just, oh.
Right, right. Oh, so I'm almost excited now. So,
Mhm.
although that, didn't work as we expected, I'm very happy to still have one maybe in my garden this fall.
Yeah. And is that just a
So,
shrub? Is that a shrub or a climbing
it's a
one?
shrub,
Oh, beautiful. Yeah.
and it's old rose, and it's the best thing about it apparently is the scent.
Yes.
And I'm like,
They
"Those
are
old
amazing.
roses." I used to grow tea roses, and that
Yeah,
was, my
yeah.
first foray into gardening, and they don't smell good.
They
Look
look good.
beautiful.
Yeah, they look
They
good.
look beautiful, but there's no scent to them, and then I smelled an old heirloom English rose.
Mhm.
I was sold. I'm like, "No more of these fiddly tea roses," 'cause there's so much work to grow into beautiful
Yeah,
single blooms that you can cut off and put in a vase for a
yeah.
week, right? And I thought, "Oh, no." So I have all these containers that will handle the old English roses.
Mhm.
They have a nice, vase shape where the rose
It's
sits
long.
in it and there's water.
Yeah,
I'm like, all day long, I will take that to a
they will love that. Yeah.
yeah, to a dozen roses on stems.
That's good.
Um, yeah. So do you have any oh, you just said you had 4.
Mm.
Are those on your plot or in your garden?
These are at my garden. I'm considering moving 2 just because they're in pots at the moment. I'd love to see them in the ground because I think
Yeah,
they do so much better in the ground. But obviously, I've always been in between sort of moving, and now we're kind of nearly near the end stages. I'm like, I could either put them in the allotment or make them wait a little bit longer. So I don't know, but I've got them in pots, and they do well enough. Um, I will say there's some varieties that are more disease resistant than others, and it definitely pays to just get the disease resistant ones because
sure.
as soon as you get any disease on a rose, it's just a nightmare to try and get rid of it and keep on top of it. So yeah.
Yeah, when a black spot was always one that I
Black
used to get
spot.
with the tea roses, and
Yeah.
it's almost impossible to combat
You
other
try
than
and
just
try, and it just
I
comes back
know,
every
but it comes
time.
back because I think it's got something to do with where it's planted. At least
Okay.
that's my theory.
Right.
Like,
Okay.
because how does that, settle into this rose, but don't let it touch that rose or that rose is gonna get it too.
Yeah.
So I think it's a virus.
It's a virus. I think it spreads by spores, doesn't it? 'Cause they say to be very careful. So you take off the leaf, but make sure you dispose of it and don't
Right.
let it sit in the soil. Because if it sits in the soil, when it rains, it comes back up and it just re-leaches back onto the rose. So
Yeah,
I think it's one of those ones where you just have to be so clinical and so
yeah.
on top of it. And I'm just not, just not.
That's why I like these older roses, the heirloom they don't seem to be bothered by much of that
Just good. They're
because 'cause they're
just
so
good.
big. They just
Yeah.
keep growing and keep blooming.
Fight it
Take the
off.
occasional dead head off, and there's 10 more coming.
Love
Uh,
it.
yeah. So I was hoping to have some Gertrude Jekylls for the wedding, but that's okay. That is A-okay. Uh, anything else,
Not
that's
flower related, but I was gonna say, have you had the cicadas come through yet?
we have had the least cicadas we have
Really?
ever
Oh,
had. We heard them, and it was probably might have been July 4th. We were
mhm.
outside on the deck, and all of a sudden, we were like, "Oh my gosh,
It's
those are
time.
cicadas."
Yeah.
Because we hadn't heard them yet, but it wasn't, it
Not
was,
what they
like,
made it
sort of
out.
regular, maybe less than normal.
Ah. Ah.
So I think they all stuck in Chicago and said,
Yeah.
"We're just staying here."
Yeah, we're not
'Cause
coming.
I have seen no great, you know, apocalypse from the cicadas this year.
They made out it was gonna be something quite amazing, didn't they? And nothing happened.
Yeah, it was a little, yeah, it was a little, "Oh, hurry up and wait," and then there's
Mm.
nothing. But I guess maybe, we still have several months of summer,
This is true. This is
so I
true.
guess but, yeah, it seemed
Yeah.
to be like a non-starter for us.
I think I saw stuff about there was a lot more maybe like Texas way, more down south, they seem to get a lot of them, but I don't know if that's just the norm.
Well, no,
Um,
Chicago was kind of the epicenter of these 2 families of cicadas
right.
that were coming out this year.
Oh god.
I know, which they one is like a 17-year every 17, one
That's
is every
insane.
13,
Yeah.
and this is like a year where they're both out at the same time,
Oh,
which
right,
only
okay, so
happens like
that's
every 200. I don't know what the numbers were, but I think they got hit pretty good in Chicago,
right.
but
Mm,
yeah.
okay. Well then.
Yeah, I know. Oh, Leanne, here, let's pull this one up. My second favorite topic, white butterflies.
Mhm.
I've been living on the edge with my brassicas and have them uncovered now.
Mm,
Not
that's
much
a
caterpillars yet. Wow. Not sure why, although I spray them from the top every day.
spray them with with what?
BT
What?
or
Tea?
water? Uh, because I have some brassicas under a net right now
Mhm.
that are pushing on the net. So I know the net's gonna like pop out of the ground.
Yeah.
Um, so I think it's probably just time to harvest them,
Yeah.
uh,
Let them
because,
be.
uh, it's not worth fighting. I'm really at the
No,
point where
it's
it's
not.
not worth, and we have a lot of them in our yard, and they're always running around in pairs, and I'm like, "You 2, knock it off."
You know
Like,
you
I
know what's
get it.
coming.
You want to lay your little wormies, caterpillars on my stuff. Just move on down the road.
Yeah, go
Uh,
elsewhere.
well, our neighbor is growing a squash this year,
Mm.
although that's not something never mind. That was not, um, a good analogy. They don't like squash. I was thinking, "Oh, maybe they're all
They'll
going
go
over there,"
over.
but
Yeah.
they don't like a squash.
That's such a shame.
I know.
Such a shame.
Would it distract
Send them
you guys?
over, yeah.
'Cause
Go
her
over there.
plant is going wild, it's huge.
Yeah.
Uh, garlic and water, is that what you're putting on them? Wouldn't that be fun if that would actually work? They're kinda like
Yeah.
vampire butterflies. Oh, just
It's just
water.
amazing
Okay.
there's nothing oh, just water? Okay.
Wow.
Does that work?
I know you can hose them off
Hmm.
if you wash the back leaves.
Ah, right, okay, yeah, it's sort of keeping on top of just
Yeah.
cleanliness of yeah,
I
okay.
think, Steven from the urban white buffalo farm does that,
Mhm.
and, that's very that's very hands-on to do that,
Yeah,
diligently.
squashing them all.
Oh, thank you, Mel. So glad you were here.
Oh,
And,
I
yeah,
suppose people are dropping off. I imagine we've got the football tournament tonight with
oh,
England, so I reckon I
is
see
this
where
like
you're all
is this
going.
like a final or
Semi-final,
okay.
I think. Yeah, semi-final. So England got through.
So what 2 teams are in this semifinal?
Oh, I don't know. I
Okay,
know I should know.
well, maybe
Um,
someone in the chat
yeah,
knows.
someone let me know.
I'm a very fair weather fan of
So,
yeah.
yeah, see you later. Football is
I
starting.
prefer soccer though, which, obviously we call it that, but I
Mhm.
prefer it to our American football because I
Yeah,
think that is just brutal and horrible.
yeah.
Um,
So it's similar to our American football's similar to
yes,
our
yes,
rugby. Yeah,
yes, I just find it like, wow,
yeah,
MMA fights.
yeah.
Uh, yeah, I really just don't like it. So I prefer, to watch a soccer match.
Mhm.
Um,
Netherlands. There we go. Swiss, Netherlands, Swiss, Switzerland, Netherlands v England. There we go.
there we go.
Thank you, thank you, football fans.
W
I am useless.
was Ted Lasso a big thing over in England?
Oh my god! So I don't know if I'm really late to the party. Definitely big thing over here. It was on Apple TV, wasn't it? Or
Yeah.
over here it was. And oh, what a comfort show! I love that show.
Oh,
It's so good.
I am just starting to rewatch the whole thing because
Oh,
I
good
miss
idea.
it. It's like, this was like
Yeah,
that was like a happy show.
it was a happy. It was so weird, like such a wholesome show. I loved
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
I want them to bring it back. Do more. Do more.
Yeah, and
Immediately.
I was hoping Wrexham or Welcome to
Mm.
Wrexham was gonna be like that, and it
and
kinda
it
is,
wasn't.
but kinda not.
Yeah,
It's more of a documentary than an actual,
I
show, but
feel good, yeah.
obviously that has piqued my interest
Mhm,
in all of
mhm.
it. Um, okay, so I'm gonna how about we call this
Mm,
so that everybody can get off to the soccer game
obsession.
and
Yeah,
get things, on time. I
sounds
want
good.
so thank you so much.
No worries,
It was
thank
always
you.
a delight to chat with,
Yes.
and we can bemoan our flower, um, issues, but
Next
I'm
year
oh
next year
my
will be
gosh,
better. Next year will be so much better.
snapdragons. I am
Yes,
gonna spank those next year. We're gonna
yes,
grow flats and flats and flats
yes.
of
We're gonna do it.
snapdragon.
We're
Yes,
gonna do
we
it.
are. Yes, we are. So, thank you all so much for being in the chat, and, I hope you all enjoy the football game tonight. Uh,
Mm,
yeah, and we'll see you next week, same time, same place, and have a great week gardening. I hope the weather, cooperates.
yeah.
I think that's the best I can say.
Yeah.
Whatever that means, I hope it does. Alright, good night, everybody.
See you later.